Hey kids, it's Pastor Alston
and Mr. Brandon
here with this week's Big Truth. So as you guys know, we're in our series of Advent, and this is week 2, guide 2 of our Advent series. Anybody remember what our big truth was from last week? Well, it was Jesus' followers' hope in the King. So we talked about the word hope, and we kind of unpacked that a little bit with our big truth. So let's go ahead and jump into our big truth for this week. It's another key word. Jesus' followers trust in the King. So we're talking about the word trust this week, that Jesus' followers trust in the King. So where does that big truth come from? You guys know it comes directly from Scripture. That's always where our big truth comes from. So Proverbs is where we're looking at this week. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. A lot of you guys have committed these verses to memory, especially you older guys in 3rd through 5th grade. So let's read it together. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 through 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." So this is words of wisdom directly from Proverbs, that we are to trust in God with our whole heart, with all of our heart. So let me read again. Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight." See, Jesus' followers trust in the King. So we have hope, and now we're going to kind of add a different word, trust, that Jesus' followers trust in the King. Mr. Brandon has a hook that you guys can do kind of based off of that at home this week.
Yeah, so this week, guys, we're going to do a little exercise in trust. So mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, I want you to grab a couple of bags that you can't see through, and without the kids knowing, put a few objects down inside. So when you go back into the room, you got this all prepped, you go back into the room, you're going to have the kids reach down inside the bag, even though they don't know what's there, and see if they can figure out what it is. This takes some real trust, because you could very easily put maybe a mouse trap or something there that's going to pinch their fingers. Hopefully we wouldn't do that. So as you're doing that, you're talking about kind of what the kids were feeling when they weren't really sure what was in the bag, and they're sticking their hand down inside of it. Talk about the trust that maybe they have in you, that you're not going to do anything that's going to hurt them or anything like that. And just continue that conversation to talk about how we can trust in Jesus as our true King. Just as they did, as you'll see in our Bible story this week too. And just remind them that Jesus is a trustworthy King, and we can trust in Him in all things, just as our Bible verse says this week.
That's right, that's good. So you guys do that activity at home and let us know how that goes. We'll be excited to see that. So Mr. Brandon said it too, but our Bible story this week is about trust, right? So we're going to take a look at two people. I think you could probably guess who they are. They're pretty prominent people in the Christmas story, Mary and Joseph. And we're going to see how God intervened in their lives. And we're going to see how they had to choose to trust God. Even though they didn't understand, we know that trust is in the absence of understanding, that we have to choose to trust. And so we're going to take a look at Matthew chapter 1, verses 18 through 25, about how Mary and Joseph had to choose to trust God's plan. And that can be an illustration for us, an example for us, that we can look to Mary and Joseph and see how they wrestled. They didn't just trust perfectly, but they chose to trust God and His plan. And we can trust God, right? So that's our big truth for this week, that Jesus' followers trust in the King. Hey, we hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you next week for week 3 of our Advent series.
See you soon, guys.